All right, my friends. Bonus hour. Duck Insider back August 3rd. We've got a couple more weeks of this, Casey. You've got a weird day going on today, don't you? You just showed up midway through the firm.
Yes, sir.
And you're hanging out all night through the Timbers game?
Yep, I'll be here till we're back in syndication.
All right. That's a fun way to look at it. Yeah, back into the ESPN mode with whoever's left at the worldwide leader in sports, bringing you what's going on in sports. I don't think they got rid of anybody on the late night radio side, but maybe they didn't make headlines. It's hard to say. So what do we got going on? Kingston Pub is where we're going to find Isaac and Suk this afternoon. Timbers match is going to start at 6:30.
Yeah,
at least the broadcast will start at 6:30.
Starts at 6:30. We're going up against FC Dallas tonight.
Right. Well, I've got a text message out to Dusty Harrow. We were going to have him join us, but he's been literally running through the office all day. So if we don't get him, we will forgive Mr. Hara for not joining us. We had the it wasn't the Big Ten. Big Ten is next week. We had SEC Media Day is going on, so there's plenty of things I was going to ask him about that. You've got all this stuff going on with the Blazers. I was going to see if we can get into that, but you know what? We'll see if we get Dusty. Other than that, I don't have a whole ton. I'm going to be watching the Mariners game here today. We've got them playing. They started at 12:40, no score, second inning. So we'll hopefully get some good news in a second straight series win to start the second half of the year. Of course, it's fun watching the Reds because you get, all the battles of the guys that used to play for the Reds on the Mariners. Yesterday, you have Luis Castillo going up against Eugenio Suarez. So they were teammates with the Reds. Then they were teammates with the Mariners. Now they're playing against each other. Suarez gets a home run yesterday. I'll tell you one thing that I saw, a stat that I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. The Reds have kind of fallen off as the team as the season has gone on.
Mm-hmm.
Mariners still haven't lived up to their potential. There are no teams in baseball more reliant on the home run ball than the Mariners and the Reds. They are number 1 and number 2, both with just over 50% of their runs coming from the long ball. That is, I don't think, the way that you want to do things, based on what I saw. Now, I didn't pull up the whole list, and I'd be interested if you pull up the whole thing. If you get to the bottom of that list and guys that are manufacturing runs and going out there and winning baseball games, will we see teams that are more surprising down there? I assume that Tampa Bay and Miami and the Florida teams that are definitely manufacturing runs are down there, but I don't know what you're going to get from teams like the Dodgers, teams like the Braves, the Brewers. I don't know where the long ball sits on that. I only saw the top 5, caught it in the corner graphic, and I'm very curious on that. Are you trying to activate that list right now from the internet?
No, I'm cutting up audio for you.
Oh, what are you doing? So you're just listening to me jabber about this. I'm watching you hit the keyboard. Let's see if we can find what we've got for that. So I know that you've got stuff to do for later on the show, but might need to rely on you just a little bit as we get things going into the bonus hour. A little less format here, my friend. So, what's your prediction on it? If I start to pull this up, where do you think the teams would lie on the most reliant on the long ball? Where do the best teams?
I've got it for you.
Oh, you got it. Look at it.
Yeah, I've got it for you.
You're quick. You're quick. All right.
All right, the Mets have the highest percentage of runs scored via homer in the MLB. The next on the list, I believe, is going to be the Washington Nationals and the New York Yankees.
So the graphic that I saw was garbage, is what you're telling me. When was this published?
Looking at an ESPN article, I could be a very old article.
It's from 1998. It's
yeah,
very
Google AI was
there's no
spit out the initial evidence for it.
All right, let's see if we can find percentage of runs from home run MLB, and we'll see what I get. Again, this was just watching the baseball game yesterday. So, what percentage? No, we want specific teams here. Let's see what this looks like. Now, see, I'm not getting it either.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of 2016, 2017 articles.
All right, well, that's not going to help us at all. Well, all I know is here's two teams that are disappointing. And all they did yesterday was get home runs from the long ball, so it makes it rather difficult.
I've got it for you.
Oh, yes!
I've got the percentages.
Now we're talking.
All right, so the Seattle Mariners are the most reliant team in the MLB on the home run ball.
Okay, so I'm not an idiot.
Yeah, other highly home run reliant offenses include the New York Yankees and the Washington Nationals.
Okay.
So I'm not an idiot.
Yeah.
Conversely, the Milwaukee
where are the Reds?
Brewers represent the lowest reliance on the home run ball.
Who has the best record in Major League Baseball?
That'd be the Milwaukee Brewers?
That would be the Milwaukee Brewers.
Well, there you go.
So if you're concerned about that, so where do you have the Reds on that list? Because again, that was the graphic that I saw yesterday, was those two teams sitting near the top.
Give me a second here.
No, you are good. You are good, my friend. The best news that I can give you while you're looking up for that stat, Dusty Hera just walked in.
The Cincinnati Reds are second on the list. Sorry.
You gave that to me in a very weird order.
Yeah.
So I brought you the stat that I saw yesterday.
Google AI spits out the information.
Okay.
The article then gave me the list of Seattle Mariners, Cincinnati Reds, New York Yankees, Philadelphia Phillies, Houston Astros, Detroit Tigers, Chicago White Sox, and Washington Nationals. That make up your top 8.
All right, so it's kind of a little mixed bag in there. The Yankees have been good. The Phillies have been really good. Everybody else in there has kind of been, I would say, disappointing as a team. Speaking
other than Chicago.
Look, I was gonna wait to come in to the next segment
until
I heard Lowercase say, "Hey, Google AI has let me down here," and then I said, "Okay, I've got to wrap things up. I've got to get in there soon." If Casey is going from putting audio into the system into Google AI is letting me down, we're struggling, dude.
I was thinking to myself, too, I was sitting here going, you know what? Casey's going to have a long day, but at least I got him when he's fresh. At least I got him when he's feeling good and ready to go.
You see, now you're wishing that you got him a little worn in. He's got a 3-hour runway, usually, before you hop in. This is Fresh Casey. Like, Fresh Casey is a basket of cats.
Just dip the toes in the water. We're still figuring out the temperature.
Well, let's do this. Let's go from artificial intelligence to actual intelligence. Dusty Hera joins us. Thank you very much.
I hope my wife is listening.
Well, hey, listen, we can clip this and send it to her, and
Perfect.
we'll do that. I kind of want to follow up on the conversation that seemed to take up the entirety of the firm, because I don't know that you've made your opinion heard on everything going on with the Blazers. So I think that's
wow.
Go as far as you want, go as deep as you want, or go as shallow as you like. We got a new owner that everybody seems to hate, that nobody seems to know. We go from an owner that everybody hated with Jody Allen. Her other team won the championship last year. We get a new owner that everybody seems to hate, who just won a championship with his other team.
Yeah.
To me, those seem like good signs of good ownership. Yet in Portland, do we just hate owners? That's my take.
Yeah, because it's the winning championship thing. That is where you go, is this working? And Blazers have been so far away from it, and I think Blazer fans are. They're so far removed from that you look for reasons, and everybody wants to point to this, that, or the other, and the reality is that it comes down to who is on the court and who is coaching, making decisions on the roster. Like, really, that's all it is, because we've seen this over so many different sports, right? There are teams that do it on the cheap, and there's teams that go out and they spend. And both have had success.
Yeah.
Historically, it has happened. But it's just the way that everything is happening now, because we are still adjusting to having one of the wealthiest owners
ever
in sports,
in the history of sports.
Yeah.
I mean, bottomless pockets and willing to build the arena to save basketball in this city in the mid-90s. And then who cares about what it's going to cost? Let's just do what makes me happy. And it wasn't necessarily what wanted, but it just made him feel good.
And I think that, like, change is scary. Like, people don't like change ever.
Yeah.
It's human nature. And those that say they like change, they do, but only sometimes, because there's a lot of people that embrace change, want to go and move all these places, but they don't like this new ownership deal because it's changing. It's scary.
Yeah.
And the Blazers went from a ridiculously high payroll, and that's not on the court, that is everywhere in all of the expenses, right? You know, it was something that Portland has always hung their hat on, is Blazers broadcasting. It's been in-house, owned by the organization, and it's been really cool, and it's one of the best broadcasts out there, period. And you go from all of these extra expenses that have been around for so long and so many years to not just cutting the fluff, but cutting all of the cuts.
meat,
like it is everything, right?
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing for people to take in, because it's not just like a normal run-of-the-mill run NBA franchise. It was one that was packed to the gills and had so much extra on it.
Yeah.
And you took the extra off, and then you're taking a lot of everything else off. And that is big. That's a big change. And then you have the arena aspect on top of it too, which, you know, if you're willing to cut all these jobs and remove all of these roles, obviously there's going to be maybe they're going to lose this city.
Yeah.
But the city owns the arena.
Yeah. Yep.
And the arena needs to be renovated.
And not just for the Blazers. It needs to be renovated for the biggest touring acts to come through and play concerts in this city, and you need to have all of it set up so that you can host all of the things that non-Blazers fans appreciate about Moda Center. And the other thing is the Blazers run all of those events, so even if the Blazers left, you would still have a building that needs to be renovated. You would need to find somebody else to run said building, and that's going to be now an expense that you don't have with the lease agreement that you have with the Blazers. I think the other thing that's really tough for fans is we don't have games to distract us. You don't
100%.
You don't have the actual sport of it where you can go out and go, well, hey, at least we won. Like, yeah, we got rid of this or changed this or this change is happening. But you don't have the distraction right now. And because we don't have a Major League Baseball team, because we don't have an NFL training camp starting in Portland, we don't have any of the distractions. Our pro team, I know we have the Timbers on the fan. I know we have them playing tonight, but it is not the same as one of the big four sports, and it's not the same as one of the big three sports. I know if we got hockey in this city, we would become a hockey town very quickly, but hockey does not have the reach that Major League Baseball and the NFL does in the cities that don't have teams.
Look, the Timbers mean a ton here, and
For sure.
they aren't ingrained in the fabric of Portland quite like the Blazers are, because they've been here for such a long time, and they have been huge, right? But the Blazers were the franchise that put this city on the map of not just a cow town anymore.
Yeah.
Right? It was professional basketball, and then they won a championship in '77, and it meant so much, and it still means so much. I mean, we're coming up on 50 years of that team's, this season's the 50th anniversary of that. That's pretty crazy.
Yep.
And that meant a lot to the city. I mean, the Kraken, if they win a Stanley Cup, Seattle will be proud, just like Portland was super proud of the Timbers for winning the MLS Cup. But if the Mariners win a World Series, when the Seahawks win a Super Bowl, like it hits different because of just how long it's been a part of it and how big
that and those
the organizations are.
Yeah, and those sports too, though. But if you go to a town in between that doesn't have an NBA team, they're going to know who LeBron James is, and they're going to know who all these guys. If you ask somebody who the MLS's biggest star is, even though it's Messi, they probably won't know who it is. So I think,
and then who? And then they're like, I don't know.
Well, do you know who it is?
No.
Okay, me neither. So it's
Tomas Mueller, folks.
Sure.
We'll take.
Is that it?
We will take your word.
So.
Who's
Okay.
third? Who's third? Okay, thanks,
Come
Casey. I appreciate that.
Come on.
Did
I
AI
gave
give you that
you
answer?
one more.
I think all of the frenzy is so overblown, and I don't want to get into it any deeper than this, is that social media, we look at it as a single entity. This is how people feel.
Yeah.
If you have a divided subject and people are changing their minds constantly, there's always going to be half of social media that is mad at absolutely everything. We create these straw men out of the social media response, and even if half of them are going along with the changes and going, hey, we got new ownerships, we have to expect change, all the reasonable people are mute on social media. All the people that are up in arms are very vocal on there, and then we take it as if that's the collective feel that everybody has for it.
Look, and it's not sexy because, what you're talking about is people want to live in their own echo chambers, which is, in my opinion, it is a huge part of what's wrong with this country, whether it's sports, life, politics, everything, right?
Well, it's global. I mean, social media is global, too. It's not just this country.
So we don't want to hear the other side because it doesn't make us feel good. And we all want that escape. I do, and this is something that I've appreciated out of the station's coverage, the everyday part. They have their own views on it, and they're different. But I also think it's really important that all sides of this are out there. And some will call it fear-mongering. Others will call it, just stating the other side of the argument. Whatever it is, we need to hear it because it needs to be the front of mind. Because if everybody just sits back and feels the way I do, which is, they're going to figure this out. The cooler heads are going to prevail. Then there isn't pressure for anybody to make a hard decision.
Yeah.
And I think that because of some of the rhetoric that's come out of it, and because there are people who in our local media are saying, look, it's very real, this team could leave. That stokes an emotion out of people. And that is important in a time like this, because that emotion then gets people to activate and let city leaders know that, no, it is important that the Blazers stay here because they do mean a hell of a lot to this city. They're not just a basketball team. They're part of our front porch to our city, which isn't very good looking right now. Right?
Yeah.
And it's something that people take a lot of pride in, and the economic impact of the Blazers in the city of Portland is something that all of the leaders that are making these decisions, they know.
Yeah.
They know how important they are, but it needs to be stated. And look, we're a sports station, so of course the people want the Blazers to stay here.
Yeah. And
they care about them because you're listening to sports radio. But the other side of the city that is saying no way should the city give it $1, let alone millions of dollars to keep this arena up. They need to hear why, because you may not like the Blazers, but you're probably going to like a concert that comes there, and it ain't going to come.
Yeah.
There's only the circus doesn't come around anymore. There's only so many Monster Jams and Disney on Ice that are touring through here, because the big concerts won't be coming to Portland
100% agree
if it is a third-rate arena.
I'll wrap it up with two things. One is, unfortunately, the people that are anti-billionaire and anti-improvement to the Moda Center and feel like it's a handout to somebody that doesn't even live here and we're saving the team. I don't think many of them listen to this show.
No.
I don't think many of them listen to the station, and they have their own echo chamber that does not listen to reason.
I think of any of our shows, this is the one they might listen to.
That's a fair point.
This is the one they might listen to.
That's a fair point. So, but and the other side of it is, and this is from Brian Windhorst, who wrote a recap of all the conversations he had at Summer League. He pointed out in an article on ESPN yesterday that said no one connected to the organization or the ownership group has ever said that the Blazers are looking for a home outside of Portland. Mm-hmm. So those are the two things that'll wrap it up. With that said, we literally heard the commissioner of the SEC go on the podium and say that they are ready to leave the rest of college football. And that's what we bring you on for. So next we'll talk about what's going on at SEC Media Day, and we will have Dusty Harris enlightened opinions on college football. We'll get those next. It is bonus hour of Happy Hour on 105.1 The Fan. don't know exactly how many days away we are from the start of college football, but
I think we're
know
like 45.
45. That's what most.
I think we're about there.
All right, and week 0 we'll kick things off, and we'll have actual games to be played, and we'll get to. I know, right? And we'll actually get to conversate about things that happen on the field with football. It changes the entire dynamic of this station. It's a ton of fun. I personally cannot wait for the NFL, but try to keep one ear to what's going on in college football. What the hell is going on at SEC Media Day? Like, I mean, I'm understanding that everybody has, they're a little bickering back and forth. That's kind of what you expect. The opening statement is, we'll just leave. We'll just do our own thing. We'll take our football and we will go home and we will play in our own backyard, and we don't want anything to do with. That suggests that college football is in a much worse place than even I suspected, or am I just taking all the hyperbole and running with it?
No, I mean, this is where we are and where we have been, but also we have to look at the SEC is in a spot where they ran college football for decades, and they have not won a national title in 3 years. Now, for most conferences, you sit there and you go, that's not that bad. But for the SEC, they're going, we're not playing for national championships.
Yeah, true.
And there is a power struggle that we've seen in college football, and everybody else is playing by the rules where NIL has opened the doors for other teams to go into the South where they have a stranglehold.
You said playing by the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Are there rules?
Yeah, there are, which is that you could pay players now.
Well, yes, but there's no limit to what you can pay players. I mean, we're having congressional hearings to try to make it fair.
Yeah.
I mean, you're using the loose definition of rules.
Okay, what I'm saying is maybe the SEC wasn't always playing by the rules that
fair.
everybody
That's
else
fair.
was.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
So there have been teams in countless programs that have dipped into what was their bread and butter, and they're pulling players. And with the popularity of football really exploding, I mean, we look back at like 20 years ago, football was popular, and it has been popular. But we've talked so much about, kids aren't playing football. Well, I think they are, and they're really good football players now across the country, and the concentration just isn't in one part of the country anymore. Now, the South still churns out talent like nobody else does, but you're starting to see more balance across the country in the world of college football. The door is open for an Indiana to be competitive.
Not only competitive, undefeated, and one of the favorites going into this year, and picking up transfers and
that doesn't
stars.
sit well with them. So, of course, if there was one conference that wants change, it's going to be the SEC, because how do they take power back again?
Yeah.
Right? How do they get back on top of the mountain? Because right now they're looking at the schools in the Big Ten have got deeper pocketbooks. They can go and get players. They're committed to winning.
Yeah.
And you're starting to see them go, all right, where do we balance this thing out? Now, if the answer is the SEC and the Big Ten break away and they make their own conference and they don't play anybody else, that's awful for the sport. But I think much like what we just got done talking about with, the Moda Center renovations, there's a lot of posturing to make sure people hear what they want to hear, and it's going to elicit a reaction from people. And I think that was what Greg Sankey did, because something does need to change. We've talked about that before. So something needs to change. So what is the big threat that the SEC can throw down? What would it be that the Big Ten can throw down? That's it.
Yeah, but does that need to be a joint effort if they were to go and pull away from college football? Obviously, it would hurt the schools that aren't part of the big
I think it
power
hurt them
conference.
too.
Yeah, that's what I would
It would
think.
hurt them too.
Yeah. So do you think
I'm
this
not
is
for it.
just an empty threat that they would throw out there, or is it just going like, hey, we need to put out this narrative so that we can have conversation? Because if you're comparing it to the Moda Center renovations, I think if you're one of these city council members, you have to go and say that, yes, I'm probably going to agree this is the quiet part that they say to themselves, but I also need to let my constituents know that I'm not going to do it without a fight, and make sure that we're getting the best deal that we can, because that's what I owe to them. That's one thing that hasn't been said on this airwaves a whole lot, is going, well, we care. I was voted in because I care about the environment, I care about this, and I did this. It wasn't to pass something like this. I assume they're probably going to pass it, but you need to stand up and go, this is where I stand.
Yeah, we're going to take our ball and leave is a lot better than we haven't won a national title in 3 years. People are very upset down here in the South, and we want power back.
Yeah.
You know, we want to be in control. So saying, yeah, we're going to break off from the NCAA, that feels a lot stronger.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I think there is that. I'll be really interested to see what is said during Big Ten Media Days next week.
Yeah.
Next Wednesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday? 28th and 29th?
Yeah. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, I think Oregon is on Wednesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at Big Ten Media Days. And what leadership, not just, Tony Petitti, the commissioner of the Big Ten, but what did the coaches say too? Because we're hearing it from coaches and the analysts that are there, in the ear of all the decision makers, what that conversation is like. Because if it is exactly the same as what Greg Sankey is, and Big Ten commission gets up on the podium and says, if something isn't done, we're gonna break away.
Yeah.
Well, then you're going, oh boy,
Yeah.
uh-oh. But also, I think that they want to create that sense of urgency to get something done.
Okay. Outside of the commissioner's comments, any other storylines from SEC Media Day that caught your attention that is worth knowing going into the season that could be interesting?
Well, the SEC is I think people write them off. Like, I mean, we were just talking, they haven't won a national title in 3 years.
Oh my gosh, 3 whole years. Could you imagine?
And they're trying to tout the bottom of our conference. There's no easy teams. Okay, like there's no easy outs in the Big Ten either.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to take the bottoms of it, the world needs ditch diggers too, right? Caddyshack.
Yep.
Like somebody's gonna be at the bottom, and when you play them at the end of the year, they got nothing to play for, and you get teams that do roll over. But the SEC is middle, and their top is really damn good. And I think what we're seeing across the world of college football is these teams that are at the top, it's less of a certainty and more of a crapshoot. Yeah. Can you stay healthy? Can you execute at the end of the year with the expanded playoff, a longer season, and playing through tough conferences? That was the incredible part about Indiana. And then hearing Curt Cignetti just didn't practice.
Yeah.
He was just like, we're going to be in a meeting room and we're going to make sure we're mentally prepared, and then we're going to go out and we're just going to spend a couple hours a week on the field. They were fresh at the end of the year, and they were incredible.
Well, and it comes down to who has a gamer. Who has Fernando Mendoza for all of the LinkedIn jokes and all of the, nerd playing quarterback, and a guy that was, cerebral and just showed up to play for a team that does things a different way. He made plays. I mean, the dragging an entire team across a goal line to win a national championship is the picture that I have in my head of Fernando Mendoza finishing his career, and that made him a number 1 overall pick, because at some point somebody needs to show up, and there's guys that do in moments and there are guys that don't, and Indiana had one last year, and that's why they're champions Mendoza, as much as anything. He
took so much pressure off of the stars that were around him, too.
Yeah.
Whether it was Elijah Surratt or Omar Cooper Jr., they had like 3 or 4 backs in the backfield that were great. Their offensive line was incredible last year, but he was the steady hand and did not make mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, he did not make mistakes, and those guys, they had ballers last year. And they got him again this year. When you go and you get Turbo Richard out of the portal,
Turbo.
You get Nick Marsh out of the portal. Like, they have guys across the board. And Josh Hoover, the quarterback from TCU, he's going to be a good one for them as well. They just reloaded at Indiana. They're going to be really stinking good. But to the SEC, the thing that I took away is that they are really propping up the middle and bottom of their conference, which is tough. And I think in the Big Ten, it's really tough as well. But Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama is going to be damn good this year. They are going to be really good at the top of their conference. It is how much noise does A&M, Missouri, who they're going to be good again this year. How much noise are they making along the way in that middle? And they're going to be A&M has been stacking recruiting classes, and unlike years past,
Talking about a school with some money. I mean, hey.
yeah, Mike Elko can coach.
Yeah.
And he is a really dang good coach. And then you got guys like John Summerall down at Florida, who he threatened to throw a podium at a sports writer for his phone going off today. You have a lot of really good coaches that have come in where, they're not reaching and they're just going, all right, who's the guy who's proven?
Yeah.
Who's the guy who's done it? And who's the guy who can build a culture? I'm really interested to see what Florida does, not maybe this year, but over the next 2, 3, 4 years.
Tony Petitti will take the podium at some point early next week. We'll have to listen to see what he says. If it sounds anything like the SEC and you're a college football fan, maybe time to get worried about the entire organization making big monumental changes, which you mentioned everybody hates.
Get ready for the Leo DiCaprio meme of him pointing at the TV, just going, "Oh, I heard that before." You heard it this week from Greg Sinek.
All right, we'll see if we hear the same sentiment. Casey, if you're interested, I've got the over-unders for all of the NFL teams.
Oh, let's do it.
But no, you can't do it.
The audio is in.
You can't do it
Now
until
Casey's ready.
until we get a walk over to the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk for this update. Thank you, Dusty.
Thanks, Luke. Thanks, Case.
Thank you, boss man. First on the fan, World Cup winners Fabian Ruiz and Gavi have received their weight in tomatoes from their hometown after helping Spain win the competition for the second time. Continuing a tradition that began in 2010 when Jesus Navas was part of the first Spain team to win the World Cup, Paris Saint-Germain's Ruiz weighed in at 185 pounds, while Barcelona's Gavi checked in at 150 pounds, and they have both received their weight in tomatoes.
I have enough difficulty keeping produce fresh when I buy like 4 tomatoes at a time, so I don't know what I would do with 150 pounds of tomatoes. And it's all at once? Better come with somebody that knows how to process them. I need this batch into stewed tomatoes, put these into paste, preserve these, sun dry these. I need somebody that is a tomato expert to at least come in and advise me what to do with all of those. I think I can manage it, but not without help.
Looks like you're jarring them up, and we're making a lot of sauce.
I have no problem making the sauce. Again, I put sun-dried tomatoes in the whole thing. Help me process these. That's all I ask.
And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
The home of the firm.
Stupid Mariners losing 2-1. Only one of the runs for the Reds on a home run. That was, who was that? J.J. Bleday homered to right field, and then they just scored on a single off of the glove of Cole Young. So he stopped the ball, but by the time he got up and was able to do anything with it, the run had already scored. The runner had gotten to first base. They just advanced to second on another, I don't know if that was an error, an infield single, or what they're calling these, but it's not going great, but at least they have a one-run lead. The Mariners run, also not on a home run. Single by Cal Raleigh. It's been hitting 118 over his last 10 games, bringing down his 169 average. Yeah, let's please. If we could get out of that, that would be great. You get a day game against the Reds with a chance to win the series at home. Let's just make that happen. You got 4 on the road against Texas this weekend. Let's just get this win here. I believe you get a day of rest. Then you play Friday through Monday. Just make it happen. Don't screw this up for me. Casey, you ready to make some predictions on the predictions that I already have for win totals for the NFL this season?
You know I am.
All right, I've got 2 teams with the lowest win totals. The over-under set at 4.5. I've got 2 teams with the win totals at 11.5. Those are the highest. There's a lot in between. Happy to give you your teams if you would like to see where they're at. But I want you to first try to tell me who you think. This is from The Score Bet. Who do you think they have at 4.5 wins as the over-under, assuming they're the worst teams in the NFL?
I'm going to guess that's the Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns at 5.5 wins, Bob. You are 0 for 1. I'm not going to give you a strike system, and I won't throw you out of here because you've been so helpful.
Miami?
The Miami Dolphins, 4.5 wins. You are correct. That
There
is
we go.
one ding, ding, ding. Oh, I do have a... Oh, you gave me a sound effect. I don't love it. We'll get a new one. There you go. I don't love it.
I don't either.
Okay, then we're not going to use it. I'll give you a ding, ding, ding. I'm perfectly happy with that. Who is the other team at 4.5 wins?
Is that going to be... I'm going to guess the New Orleans Saints.
New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints, led by Tyler Shucker, way up at 7.5 wins. The Saints finished. You got to remember how hot they were at the end of last season. I'd even probably take the over on the Saints. I think they're going to be pretty good. You had ETN plus Kamara. You got Tyler Shuck if he can go out and improve on what he did as a sophomore. Kellen Moore is a wizard. He was the offensive coordinator for the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, come on.
AFC or NFC?
It's an NFC team.
Carolina Panthers?
It is not the Carolina Panthers, also at 7.5 wins. Remember, that entire NFC South gets to play the entire NFC South. You, sir, have just been given a clue.
It's not the NFC South?
That and who plays in a very, very tough division. If you have to play 6 games against teams that are assumed to be good going in, wouldn't you expect that team?
Give me this one.
Arizona Cardinals. Come on.
Okay.
Also at 5.5 wins with the Browns, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the New York Jets. Those are your worst teams. The Titans are the sole team at 6.5 wins. Who, young man, has the best or highest over-under at 11.5 wins? Who are the 2 teams sitting at the top of this mountain?
I'm going to guess that's your 2 teams from the NFC West.
That would be incorrect, sir. It is one team from that division. Who is
the
it?
LA Rams.
It is the LA Rams. The Seattle Seahawks and San Francisco 49ers both sit at 10.5 wins.
Is it Buffalo because the rest of their division is awful?
Buffalo sits at 10.5 wins as well. And remember, their division brought you the AFC champion and the Super Bowl representative in the New England Patriots. So terrible? I think not. The Patriots 9.5 wins. I will give you that one.
Were the Jets or the Dolphins very good last year?
Jets and Dolphins, I've already told you, they're both terrible, but it's the division not as mediocre as the NFC South. That's all I'm going to say. You have 2 good teams, you have 2 bad teams. I'm not saying that they're competing with the NFC West.
I think I might have to go with Patty Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, Kansas City Chiefs also at 10.5 wins. I will give you all the 10.5 win teams. The Buffalo Bills, the Detroit Lions, the Green Bay Packers, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Seattle Seahawks. That is overwhelmingly teams from the NFC. Only 2 AFC teams in there. Does that give you any sort of hint in which conference the other 11.5 win team might be in?
Don't tell me it's Cincinnati.
It is not Cincinnati,
Oh,
but
that
you
scared me for a
are
second.
getting warmer.
Scared me for a second.
You are getting warmer. The Cincinnati Bengals at 9.5 wins.
Is it in the same division?
It is in the same division. We know it's not the Browns.
Jesse
we
Minter.
know it is. It's Jesse
Wow.
Minter. Hey,
11.5.
11.5 wins for the Baltimore Ravens. That is where you sit. Your Pittsburgh Steelers. Would you like to guess their number?
9.5.
Lower.
Yeah, I just don't believe it then. 9 and 8 is the standard. If
That-
we're lower than the standard, I just
Again,
don't
this
believe
is just an over/under. This might
7.5, really?
7
That's
and a
disgusting.
half. It is not 8.5. It is 7.5. It's not disgusting. You're wearing your yellow Steelers sweatshirt.
Amen to that.
All you need to do right now, and I've already given you the address, you need to pay attention a little more, son. You have been given a golden ticket, a black and gold ticket, if you will. Get on to the score, bet right now, and take the over. That's all you got to do. Put the mortgage on it,
I like
and
the
you're
way
gonna
you're
be
thinking.
just fine. Don't get mad that they set the line too low. Be thankful. Do you have any idea how any of this stuff works? They've given you a gift, young man.
You're right.
See?
You're right.
See? Now, who else is sitting there? Yeah, you got the Steelers right in line with the Commanders, the Giants, the Saints, the Panthers, and the Falcons. That sounds about the right neighborhood to be in. Feels pretty right to me.
That feels harsh. That feels rather
not,
harsh.
Not quite as good as the Cowboys, Colts, Vikings, and Buccaneers. Yeah, that sounds about right.
We made the playoffs last year.
Don't talk to me with your
And
words.
you wanna,
Talk.
And you want to keep me in the same category as
Talk.
the Falcons?
Talk to the score.
Yuck.
Talk to the score with your dollar bills. Don't talk to me with your voice.
Well, I'm going to.
Don't get angry. Don't get angry at me. All right. You ready? You ready? You got your top 100 list? You
Let's
ready to
do
go?
it.
I've got 2 more names on it. If we get a quarterback, just know from this point out, they're better than Lamar Jackson and his 11.5 over-under prediction on here. I don't think that has as much to do with Jesse Minter as it does with Lamar Jackson. But hey, everybody looks at the NFL through a different lens. The good news is by the end of the season, we'll have results. We'll be able to look back and make our comparisons. We take a look at your list versus the NFL players and how they feel. We do it next. It's Happy Hour, bonus hour on 105.1 The Fan. audio that you were cutting earlier?
Ahoy, mateys, I guess.
What the hell is going on back there? Dusty was dead right, man. I'd much rather have you a little tired. We need to wear you out for 3 hours. You're like JoJo the Idiot Circus Boy back there. What is happening? You okay?
Oh, that one got me. That was a surprise bump back.
You all right? Hey, Mariners just take the lead. Now up 3-2. Luke Raley. Little 2 RBI single there, and the M's take the 3-2 lead over the Reds in the game. All right, so I was trying to take a look at all the quarterbacks that this man will be better than, and it's just so much fun to know that every quarterback that we hear on the rest of this list is better than Lamar Jackson.
You really think I'd take the stance of, yep, they are better than Lamar Jackson?
Well, I mean, this is voted on by the players. The players have voted, and they have spoken. And we know that Bo Nix is better than Lamar Jackson. We know that Trevor Lawrence is better than Lamar Jackson. We know that this guy who played 16 games last year completed 64.8% of his passes, threw for 3,200 yards, 7 yards per attempt, 25 TDs, only 6 interceptions, also ran for 421 yards with 8 rushing TDs, 8 fumbles, but 8 rushing TDs is better than Lamar Jackson. I mean, he's got a Lombardi. What else do you want me to say about Jalen Hurts that will make you believe that he's better than Lamar?
What number was that?
This is number 56 on the list. Where do you have Jalen Hurts on your list? And where do you have in relationship to Trevor Lawrence? To Baker Mayfield, who we've already seen on this list.
I have him 2 above Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
I have him 4 above Baker Mayfield. I have Jalen Hurts at 59.
59. That's not terrible. Not terrible. Where do you have him in relationship with Lamar Jackson?
Lamar I had a lot lower on the list, but
Higher.
I believe I have higher on the list, but I have Jalen Hurts as the 9th best quarterback on my list.
All right. Wide receivers have given you trouble on this so far. Your 9th best quarterback. I'm trying to think, and I have to figure out who all the guys that we should be seeing. And there's a couple names that are jumping through my head they might be off the list, they might be on the list, and I'm not sure where they're going to put them, but we will see what happens as we get to that.
Sorry, my 6th best. I have.
Okay, that sounds a little
My
better.
bad.
That sounds a little better. I was like, how do you have 8 guys ahead of that? Okay. Number 55, wide receiver. 14 games, 75 receptions, 1,077 yards, 14 yards per reception. Only 3 receiving touchdowns last year. Plays for a team called the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb.
Interesting.
At number 55. Wide receivers have given you much grief in this little exercise so far. Where do you have CeeDee Lamb on your list? Or do you? Oh, he's searching.
I have CeeDee Lamb a lot higher up on my list. I have him at 33.
Wow. All right. How do you feel about this? I know that you have even questioned your own assessment of the wide receivers. You feel like this is a slight at CeeDee Lamb, but only 3 TDs last year. I mean, got to do something in the red zone.
This was one where I had a lot of difficulty with because he happens to play alongside the guy that used to play for the Steelers. So I had George Pickens high up on the list, and just having to rework the list to find a way to get CeeDee Lamb in there and get more receivers on the list, I moved George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. I swapped them. I actually have George Pickens at 49 and CeeDee Lamb at 33, so those were interchangeable for me.
Okay. All right. Well, we will see what happens with the rest of this list as we go on, but right now we need to get into the normal shenanigans. Hopefully no pirate music of Happy Hour. We do it next. You're listening to 105.1 and the Fan Sports Network.
This is Rick Jones. From the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, your Portland Timbers are back in action tonight hosting FC Dallas inside Providence Park. Interim head coach Jack Cassidy will take over the coaching duties once again tonight as newly hired head coach Marty Cifuentes awaits the visa approval process. Kickoff set for 7:30 as you can catch all of tonight's coverage right here on 105.1 FM and 1080 AM when pregame coverage kicks off at 6:30. Over to the WNBA as your Portland Fire guard Bridget Carrollton will make franchise history this week as the team's first participant in a WNBA All-Star event. Carrollton will compete in the three-point contest during WNBA All-Star Weekend this Friday, but before she does that, your Portland Fire hosts the Dallas Wings tonight at 7 p.m. inside the Moda Center. Dallas Wings star Paige Beckers is listed as questionable coming into the contest, but make sure to catch all of tonight's coverage over on 9:10 a.m. when pregame starts at 6:45. And finally, some NFL news for you per Ian Rappaport as the Seattle Seahawks have placed running back Zach Charbonnet on the physically unable to perform list to start training camp as he continues to recover from a torn ACL. I'm Lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Don't call your mom, call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
This is the Fans.
Happy Hammock Day, all you beautiful radio listeners. Thank you for dropping in our little happy hour. Hope you enjoyed the bonus hour. We appreciate you listening. If you're watching us on YouTube, here's a hand gesture just for you. Thank you. You're welcome. YouTubers, feel free to hit us up on the chat if you're listening on the radio through 105.1 FM, 1080 AM, online at 1051thefan.com, Odyssey.com, the Odyssey app, or you ask your smart speaker to play a ye old sea shanty, and this is what you got. Use the Fan text line. It's 503-2-GO-FAN. That's 503-864-6326. Use it. Use the text, use the chat, share your thoughts, ask questions, solicit advice, or answer me this, dear listeners. How do you feel about naps? Lowercase? Are you a nap guy?
I'm a big nap guy.
Oh, this morning drove me crazy. Morning show guy over on 99.5 The Wolf, Danny Dwyer, said that he's trying to resist napping. He wakes up early.
Mm-hmm.
Doing a morning show on an FM country station. You got to not only be up, you got to be rooting and tooting and ready to go. He resists taking naps in the middle of the day. You have the perfect job to take naps. Very upsetting to me. Very upsetting to hear somebody that is in a perfect position to take naps, disparage naps. It made me very upset. And then I realized it's National Hammock Day. You're
the
putting
best
down
place to nap.
Oh, you're not wrong about that. You know what I did first thing this morning? Well, first thing this morning, I went for a little run. Then, when I was cooling down,
Sat down in some hammock.
I was pulling out hammocks. We've got a camping trip this weekend. Yesterday, you may have heard me wish my brother Paul a happy birthday at the end of the show. He just turned, 65, something like that. I'm not exactly sure. He's probably still in his 40s, but let's be honest, he's aging faster than the rest of us. He's got a big camping trip this weekend. We hike down into the bottom of a creek canyon. We're going to do some fishing. We're going to do some hammock camping. So I was going through all my hammock inventory. I am ready to go with my hammock.
Got all your bug nets?
And both my daughter's hammocks. They both have built-in bug nets into their
perfect.
hammocks. Mine's got the exterior. It actually works out pretty well. Luckily, mine has its own because I've come up with the perfect way of insulating my hammock. So the trick is, if you're camping in a hammock, you can't go sleeping back. I don't know if you've ever done this.
Well, your back is going to get cold.
That's right, because you're pushing down all the insulation. So what you need to do is you need to go with the underquilt that hangs on the outside of the hammock. So what it does is it hangs out there, and then the insulation doesn't get squashed down. It's going to keep you plenty warm. But Underquilt I have for my hammock, 0 degree, brother. It's going to be a little too warm. It's not going to be that cold. It'll be cool, but it won't be that cold. So I take my entire sleeping bag and I put it on like I'm in a cocoon. So the whole thing slides over it like, hate to say it, like a hammock condom. My entire sleeping bag folds over the whole thing, takes care of the under, blocks out all the light. You know what it's perfect for? Hammock nap.
That sounds ideal.
Oh, it's going to be
Then all you have to do is just unsheath yourself to get out of it.
That's right. Just roll back down the prophylactic, and I'm popping right out, and we're ready to go. And it is delightful. I'm sorry to give you that image of how I'm sleeping in the trees this weekend, but it's the easiest way to describe it, and I think most of our listeners can visualize that.
Painted a beautiful picture.
It's what I'm trying for. And then we just do a little light blanket over the top. We're golden. But apparently I've somehow inherited either through hand-me-downs because my nephews have outgrown the space that they take up in the trees, and we've got the setup for all 3 of us to go down there. It's going to be pretty sweet.
That sounds pretty nice.
It's gonna be awesome. You know what else is awesome? Binary Brewing and The Fan have teamed up for the Only Fan IPA, available for a limited time. Taste The Fan with Binary Brewing's signature West Coast IPA. Go to Binary Brewing's Beaverton location and ask them about their Only Fan. So good, only The Fan and Binary Brewing could pull it off. One other thing, you can get in early on your Take Your Pick this week. If you're listening and you want to play Take Your Pick, my sister won again this week. We need some more people out there and try to take her out. She's won twice now. You and I have only won once apiece. Combined, she's caught up to us. So we really you and I need to step it up, but we need more listeners to play. Because we can't have these people repeating. Show how smart you are by picking your baseball series. Go to @FanHappyHour on X. Go to my Facebook page. You can find the link and play along. It's too much fun. We'll, of course, do those picks tomorrow. And right now, we'll do some in case you missed it. In case you missed it, Stephen Curry is making history as the first active player with a dedicated exhibit at the Basketball Hall of Fame. It's an interactive setup where kids can launch the ball from 40 feet, miss the hoop entirely, and still scream, "Steph!" as the ball smashes into a display case. It is pretty sweet. The exhibit is calling him an unheralded prospect, which is kind of a stretch considering his dad played for 16 years in the NBA. Though Dell is not in the Hall of Fame, so to Springfield, he's basically a plumber. So I got that. Yeah, nobody's ever heard of this Steph Curry kid. Way to come out of poverty and give me a break. Plus, the whole display is co-produced by Steph's own business company, meaning it's less of a museum exhibition and more of a multi-million-dollar tax write-off. It's not really... I guess when you dig into it, it's not that cool. But it's something.
When Steph is just done with all of his old clothes that he doesn't want to jersey swap or just throw them in a box and give it to the memory.
Yeah. It's instead of going to Goodwill, he just takes it out there. And the problem is he's one of the few NBA players who would actually fit into his stuff. Didn't have that written. It's true. In case you missed it, the Miami Heat accidentally posted a live stream link for a, quote, LeBron James introductory press conference, sparking an absolute frenzy online. LeBron can just get this... LeBron. Can we just get this stupid waiting game over? This is more agonizing than you made us wait for you to finally admit you were bald. It's... The Miami Heat called the leaked LeBron press conference link a placeholder created, quote, just in case. Kind of like the NBA championship graphic the Blazers have made every year since 1978. Is that kind of the same thing? No? If you can get a hold of that folder, it's really beautiful artwork. You have to have it ready just in case. In case you missed it, the Miami Marlins just turned a lightning-fast, around-the-horn triple play against Houston, the first triple play of the 2026 season. It took just 5 seconds from glove to glove to glove. That's absurdly fast. The only thing faster in baseball is how quickly Astro fans point to their ring finger anytime they hear the word cheater. It's only... Where's Dusty? Is he still around? Let's see how fast he can do that. In case you missed it, Dave Roberts, manager of the Dodgers, surprisingly suggested that the World Series contenders might act more like sellers at the trade deadline due to the lack of glaring needs. If you didn't hate the Dodgers before, they just announced they're so good that the guys they don't want will make your terrible team better. Does that make you feel... But tell me this, are you more likely to upgrade at a garage sale in Beverly Hills or a pop-up shot at a homeless camp in Sacramento? Like, which do you think? I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. In case you missed it, finally, the Los Angeles Angels fired a scout named Justin Brumer Preinstein after catching him covertly recording the Colorado Rockies. I'm going to start over. The Angels just fired a guy for covertly recording the Colorado Rockies coaching staff on his cell phone. First of all, do you really need a paper trail to fire an Angels scout? Is that something that we really need? Like, how about you're fired because you're a scout for the Angels? Like, that's all you really need. Second of all, what could you possibly learn from spying on the Rockies? That's like cheating off the dumbest kid in class. What are you doing? You didn't get fired for cheating on another team. You got fired because you were cheating at the Rockies. Like, that's what it was. Quick tip, if you're going to cheat, try not to suck at it. But you're the Angels, so I guess that's what you do. What are you?
Cheating off the dumb kid is
like, come on. I mean, just not exactly the same as the Astros cheating. They won. All right, let's get to some daily buzz. Spoon gets a big offer. Tigers have named their price. And if you knew 39 million people were watching, do you think you'd try to be entertaining even a little bit? All of that is next on the Daily Buzz. This is Happy Hour on 105.1 The Fan.
The Fans.
Well, your Vetter Cup runner-ups have a 3-2 lead right now at the very start of the bottom of the sixth. One out on the board already. And it looks like a single there for Randy Arozarena. So you've got the Mariners with a chance to win their second straight series if they can take care of the Reds today and get the 2-1 series victory. The lead was taken over when Luke Raley had a 2-run single in the bottom of the fourth after they gave up 2 runs in the top of the same frame. Emerson Hancock was still on the bump when I last saw. We'll see if they go to the pen as they go into the seventh or not.
The Buzz.
Well, the Seahawks have reportedly made an offer to Devin Witherspoon that will be upwards of $30 million per season. Just to put that into context, the highest paid cornerback in football right now is Trent McDuffie, averaging $31 million per season. Sauce Gardner at 30.1 and Derek Stingley Jr. at 30. Seahawks have already made JSN the highest paid wide receiver in football. Is it worth making Devin Witherspoon the highest paid cornerback in the league as well?
Yeah, I kind of like this move a lot. You see that the Seahawks are paying their guys. They're not doing what the Cincinnati Bengals did and wait for the market to reset around them. They're dictating what the market's going to do.
Well, and pay them early. This is an extension, so this is something where you're not going to end up paying them this season that kind of money, and it will stretch out over the contract for in a few years because the salary cap goes up every single season in the NFL. At least as far back as we can see, you expect these to be more affordable as you get to the end of these contracts. And both guys so young that you'll probably be paying them once more if they're going to stay Seahawks for their career.
And with Sauce Gardner and Trent McDuffie leading the charge and changing the market, it's good that the Seahawks are locking down their guy.
And also in new places since the start of last year, both of those guys, which I do not see the same thing for Spoon.
The Buzz.
Elsewhere in the Seattle Seahawks transactions, adjustments, designations, Zach Charbonnet has been placed on the PUP list. I don't think that surprises anybody having off-season knee surgery. Well, I guess post-season knee surgery after the ACL was torn in the divisional round of last year's playoffs. Nick Emanwari's status has been brought into a little bit of clarity. The Seahawks apparently are just putting on the PUP list earlier this week because of a reported minor issue. Has nothing to do with anything that would require anything like surgery or anything to be concerned about beyond that. It is just protecting a young player that had a few different instances last season of ankle troubles early in the season, 3-4 plays into his Seahawks career, ended up having a rolled ankle that put him out for 3 or 4 games at the start of the season. And I don't know if you remember, but going into the Super Bowl, there was pictures of him in a boot. There was pictures of him noticeably limping, and he ended up playing the entire Super Bowl without any issue, but there was some concern going into the season. So they think it may be something where it's just protecting a guy who has a history of ankle problems. Nothing to worry about, according to this report.
The Buzz.
All right, we move down the line. Fernando Tatis Jr. had a nice little home run yesterday that traveled 474 feet. It is the longest ball in the MLB's this season. This is a guy that took more than 40 games to get his first home run, hitting the ball hard but not hitting the ball high enough to get out of the ballpark early on in the season. Just hit a rocketed baseball that went 111 miles an hour off the bat and traveled a total of 474 feet, the second longest of his career, and again, the longest of the season. Is he going to move forward?
That's a tough one. I kind of hope he does.
It'd be interesting if he does. We'll see. If
very
the Padres go into sell mode, there's a lot of guys on that roster that people will be interested in. Mason Miller might be on the top of that list, but Fernando Tatis Jr. not.
And you know who needs a shortstop?
Who's that? Who's that? Can you think of anybody? I can't.
I think the Yankees.
Nobody I can think of.
The Buzz.
Oh, well, something can stop the Red Sox and their winning streak. Mother Nature. Lightning has postponed the Red Sox clash with the Yankees, I believe, and now you have a day to wait before you see if they can break their own franchise record from 1946 when they had 15 straight wins. So we'll have to wait, and it should turn into a doubleheader so they can extend the streak and end the streak in the same day to make things a little bit more interesting.
The Buzz.
The Tigers have said what they would like to have in return for back-to-back Cy Young winner Tarik Skubal, and they are looking to receive in return a starter with team control and a top prospect. Interesting. I'm watching Emerson Hancock on the mound have a pretty nice day out there. I believe there's 4 years of team control still for that young man.
Kind of
and
sounds
I believe
to me like
they have
exactly
prospects.
what Seattle has.
It'd be kind of interesting to see what could possibly go on there. We are less than 2 weeks away from the trade deadline in Major League Baseball. There's been some small moves. I'm not going to give you all the details on moves between the Astros and the Royals because I don't even care enough to mention it, but it is worth keeping an eye on. There are some big names being bandied about. If the Tigers are putting out a price tag for Tarik Skubal, that means they're interested in moving him. So if you're a team with a top prospect and a starter under team control, I'd be interested. Did Tarik Skubal play his college ball in Seattle? Maybe a little homecoming is in order. Wouldn't be mad about that at all.
I like the sound of
The
that.
Buzz.
It's very exciting. The Carolina Panthers and the Arizona Cardinals. No, the two teams are not that exciting, but they are the first two teams to fully report to training camp ahead of the 2026 season. It is underway. Both franchises getting things kicked off today. The Mike LaFleur era is underway. The Panthers are defending NFC South champions with an 8-9 record last season. So it is official. Later this week, you will have more teams slowly beginning their training camps. So by the time we get to next week, people will be playing football. It's just practice, but they'll be playing some football. Very, very exciting for me.
The Buzz.
And finally, do you have an idea of how many people just on Fox watched the final of the World Cup?
I'm going to guess it's a lot of people.
It is 39 million people watched the English language broadcast on Fox. Add another 21 million with the Telemundo audience, and you have a total viewership in the United States of 60 million people watching the World Cup final. That's pretty good. The game? Not so good. But 60 million people, that is a whole lot of people watching that at the peak. There was not a whole lot going on in the game, but I think it tells you something that maybe people are coming around to it, or having it in your own time zone makes it a lot easier. If that final is paid time shifted, the next one will be in Europe and Northern Africa, so you have Spain, Portugal, and Morocco hosting the next World Cup. I don't know what time of day that puts your World Cup final, but I think that has a lot to do with it. But if you're soccer, try to figure out a way to keep the momentum going. If you can get this Team USA that showed bright spots in this World Cup and get them more involved in it, I think you'll get a lot of people that would watch as it goes along. The more games the U.S. plays, even if they don't make it to a final, and who knows if they ever do, even just getting to know some of the personalities, they did a really good job with the World Cup, and it was really entertaining, and maybe it is just a matter of being here that drew me in, but I'll be curious what my viewership is like on the next one.
I'm in the same boat.
That's kind of where I say you move it across the globe. I mean, that was one of the cool things that we saw with the World Cup, right, was here we are live from Belgium. It's 1 o'clock in the morning over there. Here they are celebrating. Here's Norway. It's 2:30 in the morning. Here's the crowd celebrating. Here's XYZ country at XYZ time partying. Middle of the night. Rain, shine, everybody gathering in the town square outside to cheer on their heroes, and it was fantastic. Obviously, it got the imagination of everybody here in the United States and North America, but I just wonder if we'll be as interested when it ain't here.
Amen to that.
We'll see. Time will tell, but right now, we need to walk over to the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk and see what we missed.
This sports update is brought to you by Reynolds Defense Firm. If you've been arrested for a DUI, you need a team of attorneys that you can put your trust into. Call Reynolds Defense Firm today, online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. First on the fan, staying with the World Cup. According to Hard Rock Bet SVP of Sportsbook Neil Walsh, this World Cup will go down as the biggest betting event in American history. And to say it, we're talking the equivalent of 10 Super Bowls.
Wow.
DraftKings reports taking.
Wow, wait. This is the entire World Cup? This isn't just a final?
Just the entire World Cup.
Oh, yeah. You played 48 games. Of course it's more than a Super Bowl. It's 10 Super. Get out of here.
A little bit for the numbers on you, as DraftKings reports taking 650% more bets, and BetMGM reports taking 211% more bets than 4 years ago. So not only is it
Yeah, I get all that.
the most, again, in history, it's the most in World Cup history as well by a sweeping margin.
Why, compared to the NCAA tournament, how many bets were placed on that stupid little shindig this year? That's what I'd like to know. I'm sure it's probably more, but at least it's a tournament.
It says the final, in which Spain beat Argentina 1-0 to win the World Cup, was the most bet soccer match in the histories of BetMGM, Caesars Sportsbook, and DraftKings by both bets and handle. BetMGM said the final outperformed every 2026 college football playoff game besides the championship, as well as every March Madness, NBA Finals, Stanley Cup Final, and World Series game in the past year.
So it did not beat the college football final.
Not the championship, but every other game.
But okay, calm down, hype machine. Not you, but the article. If you didn't beat the college football championship, you didn't beat anybody. Get out of here with that. Those are equivalent. 60 million people did not watch the college football final. Mattress Mac, I don't know what he bet on the final of the World Cup, but get out of here with those numbers. That's garbage. If you can't beat, who even played in the championship last year? Indiana, Miami. Get out. You can't beat the Hoosiers. It's the worst college football program historically in the history of this country. Barf.
And for more sports scores and stories in 60 minutes, I'm Lowercase from the George McCoy Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
The Fan is live on YouTube. Let's listen in.
I think it's bad for the game. The game's in a great spot right now. I don't support that.
I think if the billionaires are wanting it, they're billionaires for a reason, and they want to continue to enhance their portfolio as much as possible, and us players understand that. And so the answer to your question is no good.
Bad. I'm not going to comment on that. The biggest thing for me is every other league has a cap, and not one of those players like it. So why would we agree to something that no other player likes?
I think it's bad for everyone. I think it's even bad for the teams, bad for the players, bad for everyone. So, I'm not in favor.
Bad for baseball. We're in a good spot where we are, so we'll just see what happens with the lockout.
Done the right way, probably good for competition, but bad long-term for the sport. Baseball is very lucrative, but it also allows us to negotiate what we feel is what we're worth.
I'm not entirely sure on that. I think I'm probably the most uneducated on that matter.
That was MLB All-Stars being asked if they think that the salary cap for the MLB will be good or bad. I know that we've brought up the salary cap a few times on this show, but I want to get your clear take on this one. Where do you think the MLB where do you stand, I should say, in terms of a salary cap for the MLB players?
Well, I think it's one of those things that can be good and bad, and I don't know enough about the economics around it to suggest what they do. What I do know is the players do not want it. The salary cap, we just talked about the salary cap in the NFL. It keeps going up and up and up because their revenue keeps going up and up and up. But they have to fill out much larger rosters, and they have to do it in a positional way. I mean, Kyle Juszczyk earlier this year talking about how bad it is for him to play fullback because the salaries are set based on position, and it creates all these different challenges. In baseball, they have made it very clear that they will not sign a CBA that includes a salary cap because it is giving in to one of their concessions that they have been immovable on. So they are willing to sit out and not play. What will be really bad for baseball is a strike. If you have a labor stoppage, that would be terrible for the momentum that you have in a 100%. Sport that dipped below the NBA in revenue just a few years ago and has an opportunity, if they can, reset up their houses properly, to exceed the NBA. The NBA has a lot more trouble with their convoluted, confusing, challenging salary cap and the second tier and the apron, and that. Speaking of things that I do not understand, the fact that you have to break up a Celtics team that won a championship just a couple years ago because you can't afford to pay everybody on that roster. The fact that the Oklahoma City Thunder, who won 2 years ago, now have to break up part of their team because they can't afford to pay everybody. Yes, it's created parity in the NBA, but I don't think it's made the product a whole lot better, and it's been really challenging to make the bottom teams rise up to the top. It just means that more teams at the top have an opportunity to win, and you've got free agency holdouts like LeBron James, who's just going to go, I'll pick my team eventually, and he's going to play for whatever he wants, but the players are 100% in control of that league, and if they decide that they want to leave, they're gone. Giannis did it this year, and Jaylen Brown did it this year, and Kawhi Leonard did it this year, and LeBron James is just sitting back waiting. So ultimately, I think it ends up being a bad thing, even if it is a good deal to start with. What it does is it creates leverage down the road that ends up being a bad thing, and you're not going to print money like the NFL does, where it's probably a good thing that they have a salary cap just for competitive balance, but it's such a different sport.
Late night for everyone. I won't pretend to be up here and defend Bryson. I'm not particularly fond of him. I think a lot of it's performative. I think a lot of it's for attention. And to hold the tournament hostage like that and have all of us, volunteers, players, everyone waiting on him to depart, I didn't feel like it was a great look.
Do you think he knew what he was doing?
Look, he's going to say, again, I'm not in his mind, I'm not in his, but it didn't look good.
Roy, is something like that, you think that happens out here more
than we know, and it just isn't viewed or seen? Or...
Yeah, it's hard, right? Like he's every shot is on camera. There's a lot of guys that play this week and the shots aren't on camera, so you can say that that's unfair or whatever, or it might happen more than it does, but it's obviously impossible to police everyone, and that's why it is for the most part, a self-policing game. But I think when there is obvious evidence like there was last night, then obviously that's a different story.
That was Rory McIlroy on the Bryson DeChambeau incident at the Open Championship last weekend. How much better is golf when they have a rivalry? I think we need more of it. I think just around all sports in general, it's better when there's a little bit of beef. I need Rory to double down on this. I need Bryson to start wearing all black and start really acting like a villain. I need more rivalry.
He had the villain thing going for a while, and then he realized that he could make a lot of money by being everybody's favorite buddy on the YouTube golf channels, and has made a lot of money doing that. And
so does Rory become the villain?
I mean, I think it's more fun when you can pick your sides. I mean, that really is, and because that whole press conference sounds very petty to me from Rory McIlroy. He's probably the golfer that I prefer to watch, but I don't really have much love for either of them. Mm-hmm. I've always been a Brooks Koepka guy myself, who has had his own run-ins with Bryson DeChambeau. But the idea that the tournament's conversation is more about this than the guy that actually won in Ryan Fox, and a guy that, from all reports, seems to be really well liked across the world of golf and has played on every golf tour, it feels like, across the globe, has won on the PGA and the European Tour and the Australasia Tour and wherever. All of his resume is global, which is very cool, and he wins this tournament in the British Isles, and we're still talking about Bryson and Rory. And so it is good, and it's not good. The problem is neither of those guys are the best golfer in the world. Scotty Scheffler is, and he does not say a word. What would be really great is if you had two guys at the top of their game that we would see again and again. And I'm trying to think of the last time we had that with golf. I mean, all of the Tiger
and Phil?
Yeah, but all of the Tiger competitors fell by the wayside.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, having that where it's going back and forth for number one in the world was what I want, not going over, I don't like him and he doesn't like me and did he cheat? That to me is a little bit exhausting. Rory, play better at the end of tournaments. I know that you won the Masters back-to-back years, but it's exhausting watching you try to lose a tournament the whole time. And the reason you two have any rivalry whatsoever is because you choked on a 3-foot putt in the U.S. Open and Bryson made his shot. So you can hate him all you want, but he bested you mostly because you bested yourself. But I'd love to see it, final pairing, two guys, number one, number two in the world. That's the rivalry I want more than this podium rivalry.
Duo that I am interested to see what it looks like, Ja Morant and Damian Lillard. I am interested to see what that looks like in Portland. Dame Dollar coming back, and I don't feel like he has anything to prove, but he's coming back home off the injury. We've seen him. We saw him working out. That man gonna be ready to go. We see what he did in All-Star Weekend with the three-point shot. Here's what we talked about on TV, which now Ja Morant will have. A mentor and a veteran in the locker room at all times that he can lean on, look out for him, and always be in his corner. It's like, hey, I don't recommend that, or whatever the case may be, and hold him accountable. And I feel like Ja now will go out there and don't want to let Dame Dollar down because of what Dame means to the NBA as well. So I am interested to see what that looks like. And I think we're going to see a unreal version of Ja Morant.
Yeah, I think with that situation, the examples are going to be set for him every single day when he's around those guys. They're a true professional. It's only going to be iron sharpen iron. They're going to rub off on him in a very positive way to where his mindset is just solely concentrating on basketball.
That was Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady talking about the new duo in Portland in Damian Lillard and Ja Morant. I know we have a lot of smoke and fire going on around the Blazers right now, even with the sign that says days before bad news behind you that says 0. But how do we feel about this duo moving forward? You heard T-Mac said it. Iron sharpens iron. Can we see some success out of this duo?
Well, it's funny because you hear us say it, that, oh, you'll have mentorship with Drew Holiday and Damian Lillard in the locker room, and then you have people poop, oh, that's not really how it works. Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady been in NBA locker rooms? Have they been young guys and been old guys in this league? Guys that have earned the respect of guys coming in, guys that came in with all the talent in the world and maybe needed to find somebody to go, young man, let's go and harness all of that ability. So I will say that there is a lot more credibility in their words than mine, but that is what I've been said the entire time with this trade. I know that there's too many guards on this roster. I know that there's too many centers on this roster. How is it all going to work? The beauty is we're going to see how it's all going to work. Is Micah Nori the right guy? Is Joe Cronin still the guy to get the job done as far as building this roster? There's very short-term bets on those guys to make it all work. You're not paying a whole ton of money to Ja Morant. You didn't give up a whole ton for him. So this is a fail-fast setup. And if this ends up being a disaster of a season and you end up with a high draft pick, I don't know if there's a great talent out there in college basketball or around the world that would come in and make it interesting. But I'd much rather have it be interesting right now than completely uninteresting. And last year, I don't know if anybody expected to see what we saw out of Denny Advia, but last offseason was not terribly interesting. This one has been extremely interesting. So if the season ends up bringing us surprises on the positive side like we got last year and this team elevates, hey, I'm all here for it. If it ends up being an absolute disaster, it'll still be interesting because this team, the way it's constructed, has one way of failing, and that is spectacularly in my mind. I don't think there'll be a middling team. It's going to work, and it's going to work well, or it's not going to work at all, and I'm okay with either way.
Again, it's the trial by fire. I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you.
All right. Well, that puts us perfectly in time with where we need to be. So let's take a look at what we have next. Are you a big Marvel Universe guy?
You know I am.
There's one actor that has turned down the Marvel Universe so many times, they call it a tradition. Do you have any idea what actor they have been courting this entire time? You'll find out in One More for the Road. We do it next. It's Happy Hour on 105.1 The Fan.
The biggest...
you missed any part of this show, past shows, future shows, download the podcast. You can find it at 1051thefan.com, odyssey.com, the Odyssey app. Just for your little information in your brain, 48 days, 14 hours, 28 minutes, and 35 seconds until the kickoff of the NFL season. I do need to let you know that we are in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Reds lead at 5-3. Very irritating. One out double by Julio just a second ago gives them a runner on second. And one out in the bottom of the 8th. We'll see if they can pull this off. We will not get to the culmination of this game by the end of the broadcast. So the nice thing is, after this show, go down to the Kingston, hang out with Isaac and Souk, and you can kick it with them and watch them do their broadcast, and then go right over to the Timbers game. It will be fantastic. And I can stay in the studio and watch this game and see if the Mariners blow it or not. Casey, what are people saying on the YouTube chat and the text toy that we need to address?
Sox doubleheader was today versus the O's. They already won.
Oh, beautiful.
Game 1 for 15.
So that was yesterday. They've won 15 straight, and then tomorrow or tonight will be the second game of the doubleheader. So, yeah, just a little miss by me on that. I pulled it this morning, and as I was reading it, I'm like, I should probably pull up exactly when those games are going to be played, but you can't always be perfect, can you? I mean, you'd like to be. You can't always be perfect. Let's do one more. Before we get to this, I just want to say one more thing about the Blazers. Kevin Calabro not coming back. Travis Demers not coming back. What did they do with their coach? And did we like the hire that they had for their coach?
The Mike Inori hire?
Yeah.
I like the Mike Inori hire.
Okay. Who was Mike Inori from a 10,000-foot view? A guy that's been doing it a really long time and was looking for an opportunity.
And has a great relationship with players.
Do we think there's anybody out there that is looking for an opportunity as a broadcaster that will do it for whatever money is available to go out and do it?
I bet you there is.
Is there a possibility that that is a shrewd business move?
Probably.
Okay. I don't think it's the end of the world.
I think both can be right.
Not everybody has unlimited money, but I'll tell you who does. The Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Mm-hmm.
If I gave you an opportunity to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I assume you would jump at it.
Amen.
Okay.
Without question.
All right. So we put you in as, one of the, weakest superheroes out there, Nerd Boy or something like that. Doesn't matter. Just put me in it just so I can be a part of it, even if you're just a punching bag.
Yeah, sign me up.
All right. So
that check will probably still clear.
There is amen to that, right? There's plenty of money to be out there. It's like you could be Kenny and die in every single movie, and I think people would enjoy it. Here's my question: who do you think the actor that they have offered so often that they call it a tradition to be turned down by said actor?
I'm guessing it's got to be an A-lister, like a Daniel Day, someone who's in a bunch of...
Yeah, but he's not in a... He doesn't do enough movies that Daniel Day-Lewis would be the guy.
Oscar Isaac's already won.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it Brad Pitt?
It is not Brad Pitt. It is Adam Driver.
Ooh, Kylo Ren.
Yeah. So here's my... You brought up... what's his name? Isaac...
Oscar Isaacs.
Oscar Isaacs. I couldn't, for some reason I lost his first name. I was going to say Austin Isaacs, but I knew that wasn't. Oscar Isaacs. He's in both universes.
Yeah, he plays Moon Knight.
Yes, I know. So I always thought that was strange. I always felt like if you were going to be in one, you couldn't be in the other. But on the other hand, you've got, what's his name, who's the director of Iron Man.
Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau, who lives in both. He brings you Iron Man and Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Still feels weird to me. It feels like you have to pick one.
I think you do. Star Wars or Marvel. You can't do both.
I think I'm on Adam Driver's side with this. I don't think you can do both. Now, Jon Favreau, as a director, he's not a chauffeur that I've seen in The Mandalorian anywhere. So I'll give him a little room. Plus, Swinger's one of my favorite movies of all time. But why? You're telling me there's not more talent out there that we can go out and we can separate these guys from one from the other?
They really just take every actor and make them do at least one Marvel film.
Yeah. Have they called Brad Pitt? George Clooney? Who else do we need in the we've got Doomsday coming up December. They set a record for the most pre-sale tickets in the history of cinema. So we've already got that going on. So who's going to show up in Doomsday? To be determined, but it probably not going to be Adam Driver. That's
Lawrence Fishburne.
That's who you want to see. And what's his name? John Wick. Get them both out there.
Keanu Reeves. Get him in there.
Boy, I'm getting it. Big thanks to Dusty Hara for joining us today. Thank you, Lowercase. Thanks to everybody that listened. And, of course, thank you, Isaac Ropp. We're done for now. Bye-bye.